Hello everyone, Ellen Woodbridge here, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. I would love to welcome you to the Night Angels Global video hop. I wanted to say blog hop, but it's actually a video hop. Our October theme is thank you cards. So what I wanted to do this month was to introduce you to something that is coming up in November, and it is our Fluffiest Friends stamp set. And I just realized this comes with dies and I hand cut my image. Oh well, I'll show you how versatile it is and that you don't actually need to hand cut your images like I did, because it also comes with a coordinating stamp set. So this is really cute. Images only, no sentiments, so you can add whatever you want, but I just think all the animals are super cute and everyone except for the bird is gifting something. So I thought that was perfect for our thank you card, and the little bunny here is giving us a cupcake as a thank you, which I thought was really sweet. So I'm going to show you how I very simply coloured the bunny and assembled this card. So the paper I have used is the Delightfully Eclectic paper, which I love. I love the eclectic mix of designs in here, and I have managed to put 4 of those designs together. So the circle that the bunny is on, I have used the 3rd largest Stylish Shapes circle for that. And for our sentiment, I have used the Kindest Expressions stamp set. Now I have gone ahead here and I have already done some prep. So all of these, well, majority of these pieces on my original card were actually scraps. So I had scraps in my pack of papers. So I just decided playing with some things and arranging them together, and this is what I came out with. So I have prepped another lot of scraps. Well, they weren't really scraps this time, but they look like my scraps. So what I have for our card base, this is a full card base size. So this is one side, this is the other. I just thought the notebook paper brought in the crushed curry very well. Have this gorgeous love heart paper, which is pretty peacock with a little bit of bubble bath, and that is the other side. I have 2 pieces here which are predominantly bubble bath. This one does have some fresh freesia. I do have our circle, which I am going to make into crushed curry. I'll show you how to do that. I have already stamped our sentiment onto the dotted crushed curry. I'm not going to hand cut this time. I was going to flag the end, so we'll see how that all looks like in the end. And we have our bunny, and that is where we are going to start. So bunnies are one of the animals that are super duper easy to colour, because unless you've got a grey or a grey blue bunny, they are brown or white. So I chose to do a white bunny here, and what I'm going to start with is putting bubble bath in a couple of places. So I'm using Stampin' blends. I have the dark and the light, and I am going to start with the light. So in this image, I have stamped with Memento ink, and that was probably a little too much, but that's okay. And we do have lots of marking on this image, which shows exactly where our dark spots are. So I've added in where I want all that light, And now I'm going to go in with the bullet tip of the dark, not the brush, and just go over where those darker areas are. I'm going to give it a little pink nose, little pink toes, and of course, because I'm here live, I go outside the lines, but that's okay. Our colouring does not have to be perfect. It just has to be done. So now I'm going to go back in with the light and using the brush end, just blend that dark out just a little bit, just on the ears and the pads of the foot. So that finishes my bubble bath, and now I'm going to go in and do the bunny's body, and what I have chosen to use is light smoky slate because I don't want it to be too dark, but I want to add shadows. So I'm not saying the bunny's grey, but using a grey colour creates shadows, which makes it appear white and not coloured in at all. And I'm going to soften that white with the colour lift, soften the grey rather with the colour lifter. So I do and I'm following these lines again and the markings on the bunny as to where all these areas of shading are. So I do hope you can hop around to everyone's videos and leave some love, because I'm hoping you are going to enjoy everyone's video, because I'm assuming we are all going to be doing something slightly different, and I'm just going to add a little bit just there, because under the arms and the cupcake it is going to be a little bit darker, as with just under the chin here. Perfect. So I've been fairly light-handed, but I am going to go in with the colourless blender. It doesn't actually add colour, nor does it take away colour. What it actually does, it pushes the colour deeper into the paper fibres. So it just softens what you have already put down. So it just makes those lines, especially here, a little less harsh. So it makes it even lighter than the lightest we have put on. So that will settle in and dry out a bit, and then I will show you. So now I've done my main pieces. Now I am on to the cute little cupcake. So I have light melon mambo, and I'm just going to dot that little cherry. Actually, I'm going to use a brush end, because I have a feeling this brush end is just a titch darker. Yes, it is. That is perfect. And I'm also going to come back and use this colour lifter to push down some of this pink. Hopefully that'll work perfectly. So we have our cherry, and next, to recreate, because we don't actually have a crushed curry blends, but to recreate that colour, I have grabbed the light and the dark daffodil. So it's not going to be perfect, but it is going to work. So I'm just going to go in with the light, and then I'm almost just going to dab on a little bit of this. So I'm just using the bullet end, and I'm literally just touching those areas where there are shading lines. Now, because this piece of paper does have a little bit of fresh freesia in it, I am going to do the cake paper, the cake patty in this. So what I thought was, if we put dark along the center here, and then I will go over the whole area with the light. We're not doing anything special with the coloring. We're just trying to coordinate as much as we can the colors, so it brings it all together. Okay, now what I'm going to go in now, and it's very, very hard to see in real life. I will see if I can catch it. I did put a touch of Wink Stella on the frosting of the cupcake. I have been a little bit addicted to Wink Stella at the moment, and I literally dab it on. I'll leave it for a little bit and I will dab on a second layer because never enough sparkle. And there is edible glitter, so it's not beyond the realms that this would actually not be something you can get at a bakery or a cupcake shop. Okay, so that is the image that we have coloured. So next, I'm going to deal with the Stylish Shapes die. As I said, this is third largest. And on my blog, I will put dimensions of all the pieces that I have put down. Most of them are in inches, even though I use both inches. I normally use centimeters. All these pieces just happened to be in inches. So this is our crushed curry, and I'm just dabbing it off because I would like to start light and then go in dark, because I can always build up ink, but I can't take ink away, or taking ink away is very, very hard. So I just wanted to add that touch of colour. So that is that done. So that is all of our pieces done except for our sentiment. I'm just going to put that way off to the side so I don't get my fingers in it. Just going to rub off a little bit of the excess, and then I can use this for other yellow colours. Pair of scissors. Let's go. So this one I hand cut all the way around. This one, I know this is an 1.25 inches wide, stamped in StazOn. So I use Memento for our bunny because we were using our alcohol markers. This one I chose StazOn because I love how black it is for sentiments. So that is roughly in the middle, and then I'm going to go in from each corner, popped there, and then do the other side. So I kind of get it on the corner, then I work out my angle, and let's see how good that side is. That works really well. Now we hope and pray we can reproduce it on this end. Okay, that's pretty much in the middle. Don't know that I've quite gone up as much, but we will have 2 flagged ends. And a card does not have to be perfect. Okay, so this is just too wide for the banner label punch. It's 1/4 inch too wide. So that's our flagged end. And now I think we are ready to assemble. So in case you haven't noticed, this designer series paper actually has a mix of both vanilla and white. So I have totally used that to my advantage. I am using a very vanilla card base. This is the thick, very vanilla. Actually, it mightn't be, but that is what I intended to use. And we are going to add the book print to this. Now, this will cover the whole card front. I prefer to use our multi-purpose glue because it gives me wiggle room to get this in totally the right spot. And I love this print as well because we do have a little bit of the bubble bath. So I do just like tapping this so I can get all the sides covered. That is pretty good if I do say so myself. Now I chose to use some jaunty angles, so we're going to take our bubble bath and pretty peacock heart print, and I'm normally one to keep things nice, straight and even, but this one I did not. Going on some jaunty angles, just for something different. Make it whimsical, make it playful. So now we've got our tessellated, and if you'd like, there are strawberries on the other side. And I just use dots because that works for me. So there we go, another jaunty angle. Now we've got the fresh freesia and bubble bath flowers, and it's a nice stripe on the back, but I did think it was a little close to the tessellated pattern that I didn't want to confuse. Okay, so last two pieces, sentiment and, well no, last three pieces. I want to use dimensionals for these. And I've also chosen not to add any additional embellishments to this card because these patterns are demanding our attention. Now, I kind of use a bit of a formula when I'm using patterns. So I tend to choose a bold pattern, and for me that is the hearts. Then I choose a middle pattern, which for me is the flowers, and then I choose a more subtle pattern. In this case, I have used two more subtle patterns, which is the tessellated and the notebook print. And that way, our patterns aren't really competing as much for each other because we've got one, and then our eye goes down from there in the level of demands, if that makes sense. And that way they're not really competing with each other. Like having two bold prints together is your eye doesn't know where to look, where because these are different sizes, your eye can naturally flow through the card without that extra demand, which is why I chose not to use any extra sentiments. Now I am right on the end of these dimensionals, and I absolutely do use the side of them. Some people save these up to use for longer sentiments and all those kinds of things. So now our bunny's ears are nice and supported, where I just use them as dimensionals, and then I start the next set. Okay, bring my rubbish bin here, grab my take your pick tool, and I have the, oh, wrong one. Now I can't get the lid on, but this is the normal take your pick tool that is totally coming apart. There we go. I want the craft, and it's on the floor. I want the crafter's tip. I love this hook end for getting the backs off dimensionals. Just works so perfectly, and my fingernails remain intact. So kind of want that a little bit below the top, but covering both patterns. Then I would like to add my bunny, and we've still got a little touch to do to the bunny. We've got to ground him or her, because she's going to be, or he is going to be floating here. So I want to take back out our light smoky slate Stampin' blend, and I just want to add a little bit of grounding under there. I do have a touch of a little bit there as well. It will dry back a little bit, but you can just see there's that little bit of grounding. So we're actually sitting down and not levitating above the sentiment. So sentiment is the last thing that we're going to add, and I would love to hear in the comments whether you prefer my hand cut sentiment or sticking, or whether you prefer my flagged sentiment. And I don't really know what the flag sentiment is going to look like, because this is the second card I've created. So I do want it touching the bottom of the circle, but I also love that I can see all patterns out of the bottom. So I don't know which one I love, but this is now our card complete. So we've used the Delightfully Eclectic Designer Series paper, and I actually managed to use 5 patterns, following my rule of bold, medium, and using some more subtle patterns. I don't know that I've used more subtle patterns just so your eye isn't all demanding of all the patterns at once. I have used the Fluffiest Friends stamp set. Now, I did say I hand cut these bunnies. I actually should have used the Fluffiest Friends dies to cut out our bunny, but I wasn't thinking when I was making this card, and I was in the zone and I just hand cut it out. For the sentiment, I have used the Kindest Expressions. Love this one. A bit of a bigger sentiment set, which I love. Makes cards easy, takes up a lot of real estate on our card, so adding a smaller focal point works perfectly with this sentiment. And I cut the circle using the third largest circle in the Stylish Shapes dies. I hope that you can tell me which sentiment you love, hand cut or flagged, and that in my description box below the video that you can hop along to all the other creators who have joined us for our October thanks video hop. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you next month. Bye.